The Pentagon just rolled out a new press access policy, and it comes into effect today. And nearly every major news organization said no thanks. In this video, I'm going to unpack what the Department of Defense, also called the Department of War, is asking reporters to sign, why outlets from ABC, CNN, Fox News, Reuters, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, and many more refused, and what that actually means for press freedom, transparency, and the U.S. military coverage. I'm going to get into the controversial don't solicit non-public information language, how it collides with the First Amendment norms, and why losing permanent desks inside the Pentagon, for the first time, by the way, since the Eisenhower era, changes how you get the facts. I'm going to walk you through the stakes, the players, including Defense Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and the real-world impact on accountability. So let's break it down. What's the policy is the first question you should be asking. In short, this is what it says. You won't solicit non-public information even if it's unclassified. Now remember, unclassified doesn't mean secret, it just means unclassified. And it needs to be treated like a potential security risk. So the translation of this is you can publish what falls into your lap, maybe, but you don't go dare asking anybody any questions about it or for it. Now, newsrooms across America looked at that and said, hard pass. Networks, papers, wires, left, right, and center, nearly all refused. And the result for this was, for the first time since the Eisenhower era, the Pentagon is about to have no major news outlets with permanent desks inside. Let that sink in for a second. The building with the 5 sides just lost most of its watchdogs on the inside. Now, the Department of Defense is saying that this is just common sense. We have to keep secrets safe, keep reporters out of restricted areas, and stop anyone from nudging personnel to ask questions or to get a leak. National security is the headline that the Trump administration is pushing. Order and discipline is really what they are leading with. And sure, no one, not even I, am arguing at all for posting war plans on Instagram or anywhere else. But here's the problem. The word solicit is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Journalism runs on questions and looking for information that they can back up. Do you have documents? Can you confirm this memo? What happened in that meeting? If simply asking those questions can be labeled as a safety or security risk, you don't just chill speech. You stick it in a walk-in freezer. Reporters say that this flips the First Amendment on its head. Courts have long protected the press when it receives information, even sensitive information from sources. The government can punish leakers. It's not supposed to punish the journalists who are asking. That's like calling a grocery shopper a thief because they walked down the aisle. And this didn't come out of nowhere. Since earlier this year, access inside the Pentagon has been tightening like a lid jar. Fewer desks for mainstream outlets, more hurdles to reach the briefing room, and escorts are required for hallways that were previously just routine hallways to walk down. We have fewer briefings, longer silences, and if you want transparency about deployments, strikes, budgets, and mistakes, you need proximity. If the press gets pushed to a mystery corner of the building or completely out of it, your proximity becomes their policy. Supporters of the rules say, look, the press can still report. Buy a day pass, call sources, stand outside and do your job. And that's completely true as far as it goes. But presence matters. Being in the building is how you catch the sergeant who says that system isn't working. It's how you hear the offhand correction that saves a story from being wrong. It's how, by the way, you ask a follow-up question in a hallway and get the quote that actually explains the policy rather than the polished line someone emailed 3 hours later. Critics also point out the optics. Nearly every major outlet refused to sign, except one, which many consider a partisan channel, often echoing the administration's views. That's their opinion. Other people might have different ones. Even if that's a coincidence, it looks like picking your pool, not protecting your secrets. And nothing breeds distrust faster than the sense that the government is choosing cheerleaders over critics. We had this in the last administration. It's not good for this current administration to follow that path. Let's zoom out, though. The U.S. military is massive. It spends your tax dollars, sends your neighbors to war, and makes decisions that ripple across the planet. A strong independent press is not a luxury add-on. It's part of the safety system. That's why it's called the fourth estate. Transparency is like the guardrail on a mountain road. You don't notice it when things go fine, but you'll really miss it when the cliff shows up. So what happens next? Journalists are going to still cover the Pentagon. They're still going to cover the military. However, from the sidewalk, from Capitol Hill, from whistleblowers and watchdog groups and service members who believe in accountability. Stories are still going to come out, but they're going to be slower, patchier, easier to spin on both sides, both for the fourth estate and for the administration, and harder to verify. Means less trustworthy for DOD, and by the way, less trustworthy for all of the news outlets and journalists. It's the difference between seeing a storm on radar and looking out the window after the roof's already leaking. Now, if you like concrete takeaways and thoughts, here's 3 that have been on my mind. Rules that punish asking are a slippery slope. They really are. We should secure secrets without criminalizing curiosity, and we definitely should be able to secure normal everyday items without the idea that you may be criminalized. Access isn't a privilege. It's a public service. When reporters lose proximity in unclassified public areas, you and I as Americans lose clarity. And this isn't about loving or hating any administration. It's not about hating the Biden administration. It's not hating the Trump administration. It's about whether the world's most powerful military can be scrutinized by the people who pay for it and live with its consequences. You don't have to be a journalist to care. You just have to be an American citizen who prefers facts to fall. If the Pentagon wants trust, sunlight helps. Locking the doors rarely does. If you found this breakdown useful, share it with one person, like the video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you get all of the different national security news, anything going on about public policy, government contracting that comes out. What's the right balance between secrecy and scrutiny? Well, leave that in the comments below. And if you have any questions, we'll try to answer them as you ask them. Thanks for watching.